I stand here before you today as a human. Of course, I'm many things. I'm a husband to Jennifer. I'm a father to Sabella and Skyla. I'm a son, a brother. I'm Uncle Sean. I'm a friend. My daughters say that I'm a grill master. Some people have even said that I'm a flag football legend. But aside from all of that, my hope is that when you look at me, if nothing else, you see a human, perfectly imperfect, just like you. But as a Black man and a civil rights attorney, I stand here uniquely positioned to talk to you about just how often the world struggles to see the humanity in Black and brown people just like me. And as I talk to you about what I am, I want to make clear what I am not. I am a civil rights attorney. I am not a criminal defense attorney. And for those of you who know my work and the work of other civil rights attorneys that take on police brutality cases, that can be confusing. You see us in the media defending our clients, but it's not because we're defending them from any pending criminal charges. Unfortunately, our clients don't get their day in court because the officer has already served as judge, jury, and executioner. What we're actually doing is defending their humanity. We're simply trying to convince people that need convincing that Black people do not deserve to die. And for that work, my colleagues and I are referred to as enabling lawlessness, but it's not that. Our work is actually patriotic. You see, as a civil rights attorney, I've been tasked with ensuring that the constitutional rights of all citizens are protected, such as the right to be free from the use of excessive force by a law enforcement officer. And when those rights are violated, it's my job to ensure that the justice system does what it's supposed to do and that there is accountability. But I often find myself trying to balance the scales of justice in a way where people don't, in the aftermath of these incidents, instantly view good guys and bad guys, or superheroes and villains, but rather that they see two humans, both deserving of equal protection under the law. I mean, just imagine, you're Casey Goodson Jr., and you've just been shot by a Franklin County Sheriff's deputy named Jason Meade. And in the aftermath of this, if you're Casey's family, you fully believe that the justice system will do what it's supposed to do. But it takes a year before Jason Meade is even indicted. And when he finally stands trial, over 3 years will have passed from that December 4th, 2020 day when Jason Meade took Casey Goodson Jr.'s life. And I imagine a world where none of this happens, where Casey's family is not put through the trauma of not only his experience, but seeing the justice system take so long. But it's not just Casey. There's also Henry Green V. See, Henry was killed on June 6, 2016 by two Columbus police officers, Jason Bear and Zachary Rosen. On that summer day in his Linden community, Henry was walking home with his friend, and just a few doors down from his home, he encountered Bear and Rosen. They were operating as jump out boys. For those familiar with the jump out boys, you know what happens, but for those unfamiliar, the jump out boys are known in many communities for concealing their identity as officers so that they can jump out of unmarked cars while they're in plain clothes and solve crimes. But on this day, the jump out boys took Henry Green's life. and Henry's family was faced with the same trauma that Casey's family would later face, same trauma that so many families have to deal with, and understanding that the laws of this country do not protect them equally. And just a few months after Henry's life was taken, there was 13-year-old Tyree King. See, Tyree was also killed by a Columbus police officer, Brian Mason. And I was faced with defending his humanity and also trying to show that he was not a man, he was a child. I know that he was a child because I saw his lifeless body at the funeral home. I saw Henry Green's lifeless body at the funeral home. And I understood that these were humans. These black and brown people, these beautiful black and brown people were humans deserving to live. But as I think about Tyree and the child that he was, I think about my own children, because I struggle to believe that the justice system would do what it's supposed to do. But I got back to work. I got back to doing the patriotic work that God has called me to do. And as the days pass and the months pass and the years pass, I hope and I believe that this work is not being done in vain. But then a day comes like August 24th, 2023, when I'm reminded that there are still people that need convincing that black and brown people do not deserve to die. You see, on that day, I was introduced to Takaya Young, or at least the memory of Takaya Young. See, Takaya was a 21-year-old pregnant mother of two who was killed in a Kroger parking lot by Blendon Township police officer Connor Grubb. On that day, she was accused of shoplifting. And as I was once again finding myself defending her humanity, I was hearing that Takaya shouldn't have been stealing, as if those accusations of theft were a reason for her to die. So I imagine a world where none of this happens. My daughters don't have to deal with any of this, where they can grow up and say that their daddy was not a liar. I imagine a world where Casey Goodson Jr. owns a trucking company, creating jobs and opportunities for others. And I'm thankful that we have the Casey Goodson Jr. CDO program providing those very opportunities. I imagine a world where Henry Green V is a chef. He's perfected those sauces that he was experimenting with in his mother's kitchen, and he's feeding people. I imagine a world where Tyree has finished high school and is headed off to college. And he's Uncle Tyree to the nieces and nephews that have been born since his death. I imagine all these things, and I imagine a more perfect union. I imagine a world where my work and my words inspire people to ensure that black and brown people have a right to life in this country. So my hope is that as we move forward, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness become more than just a dream for black and brown people in this country. I believe we can do it. I just ask for your help. Thank you.